Okay, here we go. Part 3 of Chapter 3. Let's talk about form in drama. Form is the shape given to something for a particular purpose. Now, some of these forms listed in our text and these slides are sort of contemporary constructs. So it says some forms of drama: tragedy, comedy, tragic comedy, some people call it dramedy, and melodrama, farce. These are more contemporary breakouts of dramatic form. Most basic form, the two forms that Aristotle referred to in the Poetics, are simply tragedy and comedy. Now, these classifications are based on, as you see in the little box, types of action, overall tone, and the basic emotional appeal of the story. Tragedy is considered the oldest form of drama. It's defined and described by Aristotle in the Poetics. Generally, tragedy presents genuinely serious action. Overall, tragedy maintains a serious tone, and it may contain, however, brief moments of comic relief. Tragedy has these elements. It raises significant issues about human existence, morality, and human relationships. There is always a protagonist or focal point leading character which arouses the audience's sympathy or admiration, but for some reason or another encounters disaster in their pursuit of a goal. Right? We talk about the tragic flaw of the protagonist or the hero of the story or the heroine. What is the tragic flaw? Most commonly, this traditional style of tragedy is associated with Greek drama and the drama of Elizabethan England. Comedy, on the other hand, also had its origins in ancient Greece, but structurally it's based on a deviation from normality of action, character, or thought. Right? So when we think about contemporary comedy, in fundamental terms, who and what is funny? It's the quirky characters, it's the goofballs, right? People who behave differently from the rest of the group that tend to attract our attention. Comedy maintains a tone of in fun, right, as opposed to seriousness. Comedy requires an audience to view the situation and events objectively, right? So think about slapstick, for example, right? Where physical harm seems to cause us to laugh because it's happened to somebody else. We can look at it objectively and recognize that no serious harm has been caused. Any subject can be the topic of comedy. And now we have tragic comedy, or what some contemporary scholars call dramedy. It's a serious play that ends happily. And in some ways, that's also the fundamental definition of melodrama, but we'll get there in a minute. Farce is kind of the broadest form of comedy. And farce has improbable plot situations, exaggerated characters, and slapstick elements used for humorous effect. So it's really out there. It's really a reach. Now, melodrama. Melodrama is a mixed form that actually had its rise in the 18th century. And it develops a temporary serious action that is insinuated by some kind of villain or evildoer. It depicts a world with clear differentiation between good and evil. The audience desires to see good win over evil, destroying the villain's power, resulting in a happy resolution. Melodrama sort of came to its zenith in the 19th century. And by the time we get to the 20th century, melodrama really became sort of a mockery of what it had been. Melodrama, when it was first developed, was considered a very realistic form because it tried to show life as it truly occurred. Not everything was good, not everything was bad. And there were always conflicts in the world between good and evil. It had very moralistic kind of construct. Right. Style. Now, style in drama results from a distinctive mood of expression or method of presentation. When we talk about style in anything, whether it's food, fashion, music, right? It's what sets something apart from something else, makes it distinctive. Style may stem from traits connected to a period, historic period in which the play is set, a nationality, some kind of nationalism that is focused within the piece, an aesthetic movement. We'll see that as you go through the history chapters, that there were aesthetic movements throughout history that influenced dramatic style. And an author. A specific author may have a specific way of writing, constructing a play, the language that's used that sets a specific style. Style, as it's defined and discussed in our textbook, results from three basic influences. These influences are assumptions about truth and value. Now, we had a conversation, not we, well, we did, about truth and value of the arts, right, in earlier chapters. Truth and value both are very subjective things, okay? Manner of expression are influencing style, you know? And as we look in the history section and you move into late 19th, early 20th centuries theater, you'll see that there is a huge breakout of different genres, of styles of theatrical presentation that really kind of reflect aesthetic and cultural, intellectual movements from the broader society in that period of time. And style is also influenced by production style. So style is influenced by style. How is the show presented? What are the aesthetics and the technologies that are used? How is the physical movement of the actors portrayed? Lots of different things will affect style. Now, the last slide in this presentation are questions for you to consider. Okay, so you can look these over and we will forge ahead. Thank you for putting up with this three-part endeavor, and I look forward to the conversation and our discussions on Chapter 3.